Welcome to The Bone, the podcast that goes deeper. Here we cut through the noise and get straight to the core of the issues that matter. From real stories to raw truths, we dive deep into the conversations that shape our world and challenge our thinking. We're not afraid to dig in and get to the marrow of it all. Whether it's life, culture, or business in sports medicine, we're here to break it down raw and real. No filters, no fluff, just to the bone. With your host, Shelby Daly, we're getting to the bone. This is a clinically pressed, approved CEU podcast. Find the quiz to gain credit at clinicallypressed.org/courses. Clinically Pressed Company, making the complicated simple through results that give back. Find out more at clinicallypressed.org. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Bone. Today we have Lynn Allen, all the way from Ireland today, and we are going to be touching on the globalization of athletic training and therapy and how sports medicine is happening across the world. So Lynn Allen is the president of ARTI, Athletic Therapy in Ireland, and it's a part of the BOC International Alliance. So if anybody wants to work out in Ireland, it's a pretty easy jump and a skip. Still have to do maybe some testing and certification, but much easier than other places. So ARTI is the national professional body in Ireland, athletic therapy and athletic rehabilitation therapy profession. Today we are hitting on what it looks like, what it takes to be an athletic therapist, and how it is a little different than the US. So welcome to the show, Lynn.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So you're the president, but what are you doing clinically right now? What does the setting look like where you're at?
Okay, so I'm the president of ARTI, which is one of my many jobs. I'm also actually an academic, so I am a course coordinator or program director of the athletic therapy program in one of our accredited universities here in Ireland. So we have 4 accredited universities that teach athletic therapy, and I am the program director of one of them. So I'm not technically clinical based as such. I'm more into the academic side of things, but I've been in that world for the last 12 years and absolutely love it. But I would have worked clinically as well. And yeah, athletic therapy clinically, it's huge. Definitely, it's gaining a lot of momentum in the last maybe 5 years. So we have about 150 graduates exiting our programs at the minute. So we have a really good, strong cohort of students that are, transitioning into clinical professionals, working in multidisciplinary clinics, but also then you do your typical pitch side work and field-based sports as well. And we're also seeing a little shift in towards other healthcare settings, such as hospitals, like our private hospitals. We have orthopedic surgeons now hiring certified athletic therapists specifically as their clinical specialists. So that's a really exciting new venture for us. So like most ATs around the world, we work in loads of different settings, and it's great to be able to showcase what we can do within that musculoskeletal medicine piece and that sports medicine piece. So yeah, it's a really exciting time to be an AT internationally, but especially here in Ireland as well.
Yeah. So how would you describe the role of an athletic therapist in Ireland? What does the scope of practice look like?
So our scope of practice is actually really good because it allows our therapists, to practice, within the injury prevention side of things, but also then your diagnostics, your clinical assessments, and then also, your pitch side, your trauma-based as well. So, again, it covers all bases that you would expect an athletic therapist or an athletic trainer to be able to work in. So again, our scope of practice allows a lot of our ATs to work within that multidisciplinary section of our society and within our healthcare system.
Okay. So in athletic training in the US right now, we're still kind of struggling with educating the public on what we do. We do a lot of scope of practice. We can fit in anywhere. Mm-hmm. For Ireland, what are the goals right now for advancing professional recognition nationally and possibly internationally, since you guys are all tight-knit with some other countries in your area?
In regards to, advancing the profession and, obviously public awareness is huge, and we are trying to advocate for that within our public health system. Especially, we really want to get athletic therapists within, jobs within our public hospitals, which probably is slightly different to maybe athletic trainers in the US, where you have that option. At the minute, we don't have that option as such in Ireland. We are very much in private practices, working alongside chartered physiotherapists and other, other clinical specialists. While I would love to see the advancement of athletic therapists within hospital settings, quite similar to what the US model is, and even some of the Canadian models, which would be amazing to see. And that's really where we're trying to educate the public. And even, in regards to insurance claim backs and things like that, really trying to sell athletic therapists to insurance companies, how patients then can get reimbursed for their treatments. So again, that's another area of advocacy we're really working on quite hard, just to generally educate the population what athletic therapists can do, and, the benefits of seeing an athletic therapist in a clinical setting.
Mm-hmm. So if somebody wants to become an athletic therapist in Ireland, what does the education and credentialing kind of look like for that process?
Yeah, so to become an athletic therapist, you have 4 accredited universities. So we have DCU in Dublin, we have SETU in Carlow, which is down the southeast of the country. We have TUS in Athlone, which is the dead centre of Ireland. And then we have ATU Donegal, which is in the very northwest of Ireland. So it's a 4 years honours degree programme in all of those 4 universities. And within that, we try to embed theory and practice. So there is a lot of theory modules, but alongside that, we really encourage a lot of practical components within the vast majority of our modules that we teach. And then from that, then it allows your graduate then to be really skilled both in the theory, but also in the practical components, which is so important as an athletic therapist to be able to demonstrate both the theory and the practice. So that's, a very quick overview. Then once our students have, successfully gained their 4 years and, passed their exams within their university, they have then the ability to sit the ARTI exam. So that's our credentialing exam. So they sit our credentialing exam, and once they have successfully passed that, then they are, once they have their EF4, which is their emergency first response, and their cardiac first response, which is linked through our pre-hospital emergency care council here in Ireland. Once they have those certificates, they are eligible to become a certified athletic therapist through ARTI. And then, as I think we briefly mentioned at the start of the podcast, they are allowed then, or they have the ability for that global mobility to contest the BOC exam, the CATA exam in Canada, and also the UK as well with BASRAT. Through the international arrangement, which has been a fantastic opportunity for global mobility of those 4 individual countries. So it's been brilliant to be able to see some Irish go across the water. It's loads of different opportunities. Actually, one of my grads is currently working in pro baseball. So, it just gives a different take on AT, I suppose, and to be able to embed graduates and clinical professionals into just a different sport, which is amazing.
Yeah. When you were talking about the exam, is it fully written, or is there also a practical portion of it?
No, it's fully written, so it's 100 MCQ questions. So there's no practical component anymore. We sort of leave that component back to the universities to make sure they're doing their bit.
Yeah. And then after someone becomes certified in Ireland, what is the maintenance requirements there?
So we require that they keep their EF4 valid. So that's every 2 years they have to recertify in their CF4, and then every 3 years, for their EF4. So their emergency first response. That's the current guidelines here in Ireland. And then on top of that, they have their 20 formal hours and 10 informal hours of CPD every year to maintain. Again, we audit our members and, the usual kind of best practices that we all undertake, I suppose, in that area. So yeah, that's kind of I'm making sure insurance and everything is up to date as well.
Yeah. So there's the honorary program, the 4-year you talked about.
Yeah.
Are there any other higher level after that you guys offer specifically for athletic therapy?
So some of our universities, not all of our universities, but some of our universities offer master's programs and also PhD programs as well within the athletic therapy field as well. So yes, you can go right the way to level 10 and have your PhD or your doctorate within the athletic therapy field as well. So that there's huge opportunities from an education perspective as well. So it's really exciting to be able to offer any potential student that's looking to go, well, how can I go from a level 8 honours degree program right the way through to PhD? There is a pathway there in all of our universities. So it's really exciting to be able to train our students and our graduates up to such a high level that it is internationally recognised as well.
Okay. And then with the master's portion, is that specializing in certain clinical skills, or how does the master's program fit into the next level of education?
So the master's program is actually an embedded strength and conditioning as well. So they have their undergraduate in athletic therapy, and then they have an additional add-on year in strength and conditioning. So it's not maybe specifically athletic therapy master's, but it's a combined one with strength and conditioning in DCU. That is the one university that I'm thinking of that has that. We also have maybe some research masters within the athletic therapy field, but that is very much dependent on the year by year and the university whether they actually have the ability to roll that out as a research masters.
Yeah. And then the doctorate, I guess, I'm sure there's PhD. Are there other, like the DAT in the US is up and coming? Do you guys have those types of degrees?
So actually, funny enough, I'm just after finishing my own professional doctorate. So yeah, so that's actually very timely. So yeah, I've just completed my own professional doctorate, which I think is quite similar to your DAT. So very similar to your structured 4-year PhD program, but it allows with a professional doctorate, it allows you to be a little bit more flexible maybe and to be able to embed that within your own practice. I think that's the idea of the professional doctorates, is that you can embed it within your own practice. So it's a new and exciting venture for DCU at the minute, having the professional doctorates and having the AT staff there to be able to supervise as well. So it's been phenomenal for me. And I know other ATs in the area that have either done their structured PhD or doing the professional doctorate as well in that area. So yeah, it's an exciting time in Ireland.
Nice. So you talked about the master's specific to strength and conditioning. Outside of formal education, with continuing education, do you guys have any other certifications that pair nicely with the athletic therapy? I know that we have a lot of concussion certifications. We do have the CSCS, which is our strength and conditioning. We don't necessarily have to go to formal school for it. Do you guys provide any of those types of additional education to go along with your degrees?
Yeah, so in regards to ARTI, we don't actually host any, continual professional development programs yet. It is something we are working on. But there is loads of other allied healthcare professionals that do some wonderful CPD. So we would always recommend our members to go and seek out those, and we would advertise them quite regularly. But there was no sort of formal CPD that we technically run within the athletic training or athletic therapy field as of yet. It is something that I'm working on.
So would that change your certification structure ultimately, or would this just be additional courses?
These would just be additional courses. It wouldn't necessarily change our certification process at all, because it's quite structured and it has to match with obviously the international arrangement and stuff like that. So no, it would just be additional measures, to increase knowledge and practice in that regard.
Okay. And then so you're not necessarily doing continuing education, but we talked about scope of practice a little bit. What are some new skills that you guys are adding on to your education? In the US, suturing's become a big thing. IV, what else is there? We've started hosting classes for joint manipulations and stuff. How are you guys evolving your education and adding new skills?
Gosh, that's an interesting question, because I probably haven't thought about that. I think an area that is probably we're moving into maybe is MSK diagnostics.
Okay.
So looking at ultrasound, MSK ultrasound. So I know some of even myself included, I've done one of the CPD courses in this, and we're just on the back of World Congress. We had Stavros did some wonderful workshops in regards to MSK ultrasound. So that's an area probably that is quite exciting and new, that we would definitely be encouraging our members to go to. We do joint mobilisations here in Ireland for many, many years. And again, grade 5 manipulations, our athletic therapists can go on and do that if they so wish. But again, it's part up to grade 4 manipulations is part of our scope of practice anyway, and within our higher education, all of our students get taught that kind of stuff. I don't know, we don't do suturing here in Ireland. That is definitely beyond our scope of practice here. I'm just trying to think, is there any other differences? Dry needling is always really common. I don't know, this is my lack of clinical skills coming out now. I'm definitely been in academia far too long.
No, that's fine. There's been a bit of debate that we keep increasing the scope. So it's so big and wide nowadays. And I just wasn't sure how other countries are incorporating the new practices and all that, since, you guys obviously have continuing education, but they're not required. So it's just interesting to learn on that part of it.
So just on that, it is required from ARTI, but we just don't host those CPD courses. So there is, there has to be a minimum 30 hours attained by your certified athletic therapist in order for their continual professional development. It's just that we technically don't run them in-house. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. So since athletic trainers are so closely related to the Canadian athletic trainers, how is Ireland and, I guess, would it be Great Britain? Would it be England? How do you guys work together since you're so closely so close in geography ultimately?
Yeah, no, like myself personally, I have a really good working relationship with BASRAT and, with a lot of the staff in BASRAT. And, we do bounce ideas off each other no more than I do with the Canadian Association or with the BOC or the NATA presidents and stuff like that. And, being able to get in one room, on the back of World Congress, that's what really makes the organisation so close. So yes, we would be very close with BASRAT, who obviously in the governing body for AT in the UK. And yeah, it's just about sharing resources, bouncing ideas off each other. WhatsApp is amazing for this kind of work. So yeah, my phone sort of lights up every now and again. And yeah, we have a really close working relationship. And again, the scope of practices within the two countries are very, very similar. And again, we have struggled with the same struggles that they have struggled with. And, we can bounce ideas off each other. And, it's lovely to have that community, not only with BASRAT, but around the world. There's so many AT professions and professional organizations around the world that, it's a matter of just picking up a phone call or, sending an email and just saying hello and, what did you do for this? How did you manage that situation? And I think that is the beauty of the AT organizations, no matter whether you're a clinician or an educator or, a researcher or whatever your role is within the AT world, we're all just, I think, like a family, and that's the best way of describing it. And just pick up the phone and just send somebody a hello message and everybody replies, generally speaking. So it's all good.
Now, more than ever, athletic trainers are becoming inundated with the growing volumes and sources of data surrounding clinical injury management. In fact, the purpose of data has changed. Whether it's pre-participation examinations, electronic medical records, concussion management, nutrition, or wearable devices, athletic trainers are constantly faced with new and complicated challenges interpreting data to drive patient care outcomes, reduce injury rates, and show practitioner value. To get ahead of this change, athletic training departments turn to Preventix, a data analytics solution provider. With over 25 years of athletic training and clinical data experience, Preventix empowers athletic training and sports medicine organizations with tools necessary to quantify the impact of care interventions on patient success and outcomes. As a trusted partner, Preventix works with you to build a strategy that addresses your specific pain points, integrating all your data sources, providing clean, reliable data, dashboards, and metrics that can be immediately accessed by stakeholders at the point of care. Don't let messy, siloed data continue to negatively impact your care delivery initiatives and practitioner value. Unlock the power of your clinical data today. Visit Preventix.com for more information. Preventix.com.
In sports medicine, we talk a lot about recovery, but not all recovery tools are created equal. Mark Pro isn't just another muscle stim unit. It's a recovery technology trusted by elite athletes, athletic trainers, and rehab professionals. Whether you're grinding through tournaments, back-to-back practices, or long clinic days, Mark Pro helps your muscles recover faster, perform better, and feel fresher tomorrow. By improving muscle activation and promoting natural circulation, Mark Pro clears out fatigue and accelerates your body's natural healing without soreness or downtime. Use Mark Pro to stay ahead of fatigue and keep performance consistent, because in sports medicine, recovery is performance. Head to markpro.com and use the code TOTHEBONE for an exclusive listener discount. That's to the bone at markpro.com. Mark Pro, the best in recovery.
Yeah. So the US is very big and we travel a lot with our teams. How does travel work for Ireland athletic therapist? I know that you guys are a little bit more compact, but then there is also traveling to different countries for international tournaments and all that. How does that look? Are there liabilities? Are there different scopes of practice in the different areas of Ireland? How does that work?
Thankfully, there is no difference in scope of practice within Ireland. It is one country and we all abide by the same scope of practice. So, if you take Ireland, it's very similar to just one state in America. So again, scope of practice doesn't change. Travel, you would actually be quite surprised from one end of the country down to the bottom. It probably could take you 7 hours to travel. So, we look small, but our road systems are a little bit chaotic. So travel generally isn't too bad, like 2 or 3 hours on a bus and you get to most places realistically. It's not that we typically have to go on a flight or anything like that. If you're dealing with the national, or, with your club level or even provincial teams, obviously, if you're working internationally with an international team, yes, whatever travel is associated and how well they have done. Because I know we just last night we have made the playoffs in the World Cup in soccer, which is amazing. To be honest, I didn't think we were going to do it. And, we have a certified athletic therapist that works, really closely with the Irish soccer team. So again, their potential is travel going to be involved for that particular therapist. But no, generally a lot of our team sports here in Ireland, there isn't a huge amount of travel involved. So maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, that we don't have to get over jet lag too often.
So in the US, we need physician oversight. Do you guys need physician oversight in Ireland?
No, not at all. So a certified athletic therapist here in Ireland can work, independently and without any oversight of any physician or any other sports medicine allied healthcare professional at all. So, there is great autonomy in that. We have our own patient list. Our patients can self-refer. So there is a huge scope to be able to work independently here in this country. So it's of a huge benefit. And sometimes I don't think we actually value that, that we're having to report to somebody else. We are the final call as such, or we take that final call with our patients. So there is a huge benefit to that, to be that independent autonomous sort of clinician.
Okay. In the US, we get along with everybody, obviously, but at the same time, there's still some friction with physical therapists, physiotherapists there, or even our strength and conditioning coaches, and just not even necessarily the responsibilities, or just kind of the ego business portion of, well, who's going to make the call? Since you're working independently, is there a lot of competition or friction between physiotherapists and strength and conditioning coaches in Ireland?
I don't think as much as it may have been maybe 10, 20 years ago, because like that, a lot of our certified athletic therapists are working in private practice. And I have definitely seen since COVID, like since the last 5 years, so many physiotherapy practices or, other allied healthcare professional practices actually seeking out athletic therapists, our certified athletic therapists, looking for them and going, can you advertise this job with us? And like, we will happily do that. So I do think, yes, there may have been that, and there probably is still some of that tension maybe in different areas. But I do think in general, when you actually work alongside a certified athletic therapist, you will see the skill set that we have and, to the advantage of every patient that comes in. I don't think that is going to be as much or isn't as much of an issue now. There is enough unfortunate sick and injured people in the world that I don't think we need to really be fighting over it anymore.
I mean, that's what I think in the US too. And then physical therapists are still kind of shutting down our legislation and all that stuff. So I don't know.
It probably is the same here, but I try to take a positive outlook on it. There is, like, to be honest, it's patient first, and that's, I think, my motto, and it always has been, is patient first, and you get on with it. Yes, politics will be politics, but that's why I'm in the job I'm in. I'm trying to push forward on certain things like that, and to open the doors that need to be opened from that kind of point, viewpoint.
So working in a traditional setting for the US and on an athletics team or department, whatever it may be, when you're working in a multidisciplinary team, how does the athletic therapists fit into that team? And are they the point person? Is somebody else the point person? How does that work when communicating to like a coach or a manager or something like that?
Generally, they are the point of contact because they are the point of care for your patient or for your team sports. So yes, we generally are the point of care for the team or whoever the coach is dealing with. So yeah, we do try to get and have a good, strong working relationship with management, whatever that capacity is. So we really are, because again that we can work independently, we're not reporting to anyone else. So the report again lies with us. So whoever we wish to disseminate that information to, that's our call to make. So again, I suppose it depends on the structure of the organization, but generally we will report to, management or whoever needs to know the information in regards to players or player welfare, whatever the case is. So yeah, we are the point of care, which is great.
Yeah. Do you get set into a lot of like director of performance, director of medicine positions, or is that more for a physician or some other specialty, would you say?
I think traditionally it would have been your physicians, your sports medicine physicians would have taken over the director of, performance or whatever. But that's not to say that, a job doesn't come up and a certified athletic therapist couldn't actually go for that job. And I'm always trying to encourage people, aim high. What's the worst anyone's going to say is only no. So I would definitely encourage anyone, put your CV in, all they're going to say is no. So you might be lucky enough and you might actually have the skill set, unbeknownst to yourself, that you actually could become the next director of a sports medicine facility. Why not?
Yeah.
We have the leadership skills, we have the soft skills, we have the communication skills, and we actually know the job, and we know what, is involved in managing a team and, managing players and, supplies and all that kind of stuff, as well as the actual human at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you have an estimate on how many certified athletic therapists there are in Ireland?
Yes, actually, because I'm after just going through membership recently. So actually, yeah. So we have about 250 certified athletic therapists here in the country, ever growing. And yeah, it's wonderful to see that growth in the last number of years. So although it seems really small, Ireland is a small place, and obviously, students want to travel the world and they want to, go to different places. And like, I don't begrudge them that at all. I actually say, go do it, because you'll never do it again. So we have 250 active members, and really a very strong and a very close-knit community. We have a really vibrant WhatsApp group that sometimes you have to mute the messages because your phone would never stop lighting up. So, that goes to show you the community that we have here. So yeah. Small but strong.
Yeah. At the beginning of the conversation, you talked about starting to work in the hospital setting. Is it just educating the hospital systems, or is there more advocacy legislation that needs to happen? How does that work ultimately?
It's both, actually, to be honest. It is the education piece of actually going, do you know what, we can fulfill those MSK roles that other allied healthcare professionals are probably doing at this time, that we have that skill set to match them. So yes, there is a public awareness, aspect to that, or even, a hospital awareness aspect to that, but also it is about just trying to open those doors from a legislation point of view, because in Ireland, athletic therapists or certified athletic therapists aren't regulated by the state. So we don't have state regulation over our profession. So that is something that I am very determined to get across the line in some capacity, is that the state will actually recognise us as an allied healthcare professional. So there is a lot of ongoing talks with our Department of Health to be able to actually recognise us as an allied healthcare professional body. So that is currently ongoing and will continue to be ongoing until such time as they regulate us. So it's definitely a huge advocacy for me personally, is to make sure that we do get the due recognition from the state and to be covered from a legislation point of view as well.
Okay. And who are the players in getting approval from the state? Do you guys have to pay lobbyists like we do in the US, or is it all organic from your organization to push this along?
It's mostly ARTI that has to, do the lobbying. We haven't gone down the road of, paid lobbyists or anything like that. That's not generally how things work here in Ireland. We would advocate towards our politicians and get them on side, and then they would raise the question within our DAL, which is, our, formal house where our senators and TDs and, our politicians sit, and try and get that raised with those politicians, that they will actually hopefully make changes to the legislation in that capacity.
Okay.
So that's how the Irish system kind of works.
Raise the bar in 2025. Complete your BOC certification maintenance requirements early. Don't forget that 2025 is a reporting year for athletic trainers. Are you on track to complete your BOC certification maintenance requirements? Find out today by logging into your BOC profile at bocatc.org/BOC360. That's right, it's time, and this year is the year to renew your certification maintenance requirements. Check it out at bocatc.org/BOC360. Hey listeners, ever find yourself on the sidelines needing that one crucial item? Look no further than Nexus Sports Medicine. Nexus is your go-to partner for creating comprehensive medical kits and accessories tailored for athletic trainers in any setting. From high school fields to professional arenas, Nexus has you covered. These kits are designed by an athletic trainer with meticulous organization, ensuring that you're always prepared, no matter the situation.
Stay ahead of the game with Nexus Sports Medicine and keep your athletes safe and thriving. Check out Nexus Sports Medicine at nexus-sportsmed.com. That's Nexus, Nexus-sports, SPORTSMED.com to find out more and get your perfect gear today.
So traditionally in the US, we have a lot of collegiates and school sports. I know that it's a little bit different in Ireland. You guys don't really have sports associated with school. You talked about the private practice, and then you obviously have teams and now the hospital. Are there any other settings that you guys are seen in? In the US, we're definitely starting to grow in like the industrial setting, working with occupational jobs and all that. Are you guys expanding or already established in some of those roles?
Unfortunately not. I wish I could say we were. And it is, having spoken, I was at the NATA conference in June and having, spoken to a few people that work in that area. It's something I would love to see here in Ireland, but at the minute that isn't the case, unfortunately. So we are very much in the private practice setting, and then your typical sports from amateur right the way through to professional sports. There probably are two mainstays in regards to jobs here in Ireland. The private hospital setting, there is very limited. There's only a handful of certified athletic therapists working in that capacity. So definitely it is private practice based, which does have huge merits and fantastic flexibility, and it is a wonderful place to be able to work in because you are that independent autonomous clinician, but I would love to see new and emerging settings and industrial settings coming into play in occupational settings, but currently that isn't the case, nor is the military. Actually, we're not in the military either, so again that is something that we would probably be looking to sort of move into that space. But again, I think given that we're a small organization, we have to, very strategically plan, where do we actually want to move into? What areas do we want to move into? And at the minute, a lot of my time is, being, caught up in, the legislation and, the statutory regulation of the profession. But yes, I am acutely aware that there is other settings that we do need to be pushing into. And that's why I'm saying I'm totally supportive of anyone that wants to try and branch into any of these new settings. I would be fully supportive of them.
Well, and so talking about globalization of setting, you guys just hosted the World Federation of Athletic Training and Therapy, about a month ago now?
Yeah.
How did that all go? And do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I'd love to. It was amazing. It was a passion project for myself and for Pete Dewar in Canadian Association. He was the chair of the organising committee, and obviously we as ARTI, we were the host organisation for 2025. And yeah, it was amazing. We had over 300 delegates from 11 different countries represented at the conference over 3 days. And it was just amazing just to see the room so full and to hear so many different voices and different dialects, just all in one room. And again, like that, as much and as amazing as all the presenters were, it was having those little side conversations with people and, being able to chat to, such and such a person from this part of the world and somebody from the total opposite end of the globe. Like I had people from Vancouver and from LA, and then I had people from Tokyo, and I'm going like, where are we? We're in the middle of Ireland. So from that point of view, it was amazing to be able to have so many different people from all different backgrounds in one place. Predominantly AT, might I add, but we had physiotherapists, we had other allied healthcare professionals, we had physicians in the room. So again, it was just amazing just to get us all in one room and to share our stories and to showcase the absolute best of athletic therapy and athletic training on an international scale. It was phenomenal. So definitely, I'm so happy to have hosted it. I'm very glad it's over now, I will say. I can see it now.
Well, and then 2027 is in Scotland, is that correct?
It is. It's in Scotland. Very much looking forward to that and being able to literally jump across on a plane, which will only take an hour, which is very, very nice for us to go to so close. So yes, I will be giving a Basrat team a little heads up on what to expect, but I am so looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing event, and yeah, it's just again nice to be able to meet the same faces again and meet new people as well. There's just such a lovely community of people that goes to conferences like that, and it's a huge, for us in Ireland and in the UK, we maybe don't get the same level of conferences like the way maybe you guys get in America. For us, having the World Congress was huge because we don't normally get together, and have those big international conferences. So to have one here in Ireland was huge, and it was so lovely to be able to host it and obviously showcase everything Ireland had to offer.
Yeah.
Not just the Guinness.
So if somebody wanted to go to Scotland, what can they expect from the conference? Or what is the main goal of bringing together the international athletic trainers and therapists?
I can only assume that they're going to follow similar format to we did. So this year for us, we had not only the clinicians, education for the clinicians, we had education for the educators, and then we also had a student symposium. So I can only imagine they're going to do something similar. So again, it's covering all bases. So you're giving world-class expertise to students right the way through to your seasoned professionals, both in academia and in clinical practice. So I can only imagine that is what they're planning. I haven't been privy to any information yet, but all I know is it's in Scotland, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So I can only imagine, it's going to be something similar, just bringing everybody together and, sharing stories, sharing expertise, that we possibly would not typically get on a year-to-year basis.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, and that's, why I wanted to feature the athletic therapists that are in the International Alliance, because we're so similar but so different in how we practice at the same time. And it's trying to learn from each other's struggles and how they handled it, and not necessarily what the best way to structure the profession, but, you guys are working without physician oversight and private practice. And I think we are obviously smart enough in the US to do that. It's just how do we kind of break away and be able to accomplish that? I'm not sure if compensation is a big conversation in Ireland, but I know in the US being adequately compensated is a big thing that we're after. And I think those are some of the steps we need to look at, is how do we set ourselves up to be competitive and, be able to do cash pay and all these things. So that's why, having the different perspectives come together is so important.
And that's where sometimes, like, as a profession, like ARTI's only 15 years old. So in the grand scheme of things, when I look at the NAT or the BOC, like that has been in existence for 75 years or so, I'm going, oh, wow, how are we ever going to get to that? And then you're going, no, baby steps, Lynn, baby steps. And, that's the joy of it. You look to us for certain things, like, the lack of, in some ways, not having the need of physician oversight, while we're looking at you going, we'd love to have, ATs in all these different emerging settings and in these industrial settings and in hospitals and, in so many different areas. And then we realize, well, the geography of Ireland is very vastly different to the geography of the US, and that's okay, and, it's just a matter of educating everybody of who we are, what we do, and the skill set that we can bring, which I do think underpins everything that we do. And it is so similar. There is, yes, differences. And I sat on the international arrangement as a subject expert, comparing the 4 different organizations. And to be fair, when you put down the Excel spreadsheets of the 4 different organizations and all our scopes of practice, all our educational competencies, we are so alike. Yes, there's subtle differences, but really we're all doing the same job.
Yep.
And again, that's what we have to be doing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to ask you before. You guys have only been an organization for 15 years. How did that all come about to be professionally recognized, I guess?
I think it definitely goes way behind me or ahead of me. I don't know what way to look at it, but yeah, I think I was graduating at the time when ARTI was coming into existence. So
Yeah.
I know bits of the backstory, but again, it was, historically, any of the Irish ATs would have initially joined BASRAT because there was no ARTI back in the day. So BASRAT actually took some of the Irish members, under their wing, and then we formed in 2009. And from then we have gradually and slowly became the organisation that we are today. And to be able to host a World Congress, I don't think anyone back in 2009 would have been able to host a World Congress because the organisation was quite small and new, and it was evolving. And we've continued to evolve. And then we had World Congress in 2014. And then 11 years later, we're hosting it again. So it goes to show you that as the years progress, we are getting stronger. Again, we are small, but we are mighty. And we pack a punch. Which is amazing. And that's what we want, even on an international, on a global scale, that I have members all across the world being ATs. And that's what you want. Our educational standards is of the same equivalence as anybody else's. And that's what you want to hear, and that's what you want to see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, was there anything I missed that you think the US needs to know about Ireland?
We're just amazing people.
Of course.
I don't know. I don't know. Is there anything else to say? Only, we're very happy through the international arrangement to accept, applicants from, any of the 3 other organizations. And, there is jobs out there. Absolutely. I think a lot of people might think, oh gosh, there's no jobs in Ireland. There is. If you want to work in private practice or you want to work in sports teams, there is a huge amount of jobs. We're constantly advertising jobs. So yes, it is an area that, and a country that is growing, and we welcome anybody to come. Sometimes I feel like I want to hold on to my Irish ATs because they want to go and spread their wings. And sometimes I sort of go, no, please just stay.
We worked really hard.
Exactly.
I need the quality.
So it's mutually benefit to everybody, I think, is what I'm trying to say, really. So I don't think there's anything else really to say.
I think we covered it all, or at least got a good top layer of it. So well, if anybody wants to learn more or had more questions, how can they contact you?
So anybody is more than welcome to send me an email, president@arti.ie. Go onto the ARTI website, arti.ie. You can find any of our contact details there. Send us a message. More than happy to reply to anybody if they have any queries or queries about the international arrangement. How do you get credentialed in one country versus the other? We have lovely resources out there between the BOC and the other 3 organisations. So more than happy to help anyone that is, maybe, will I spend a summer or will I spend a year in Ireland? Definitely, reach out to me. More than happy to give you a background a bit better, maybe on ARTI and what we do and, how we do it, or even the credentialing process. So please do get in touch. We're very happy to help.
Yeah. And even if you're traveling with your team, I'm sure reaching out to you would be a great benefit.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're very hospitable people, I hope. Even though I can't say that word anymore.
Well, thank you so much for being on, and I hope everybody took something new from this conversation about how Ireland and their athletic therapists function, and I hope to have you on again. If there's anything new and exciting in Ireland that the world should know about, let me know, and we'll talk about it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That's it for today's episode of To The Bone. I hope we've sparked some new thoughts, challenged your perspectives, or simply reminded you to dig a little deeper. Remember, life isn't just about what's on the surface. Sometimes you've got to cut deeper and get to the bone of what really matters. To The Bone podcast is a product of Daily LLC. It's hosted and produced by Shelby Daly, ATC, and Randy Daly. No clinical decision-making should be based solely on one source. While care is taken to ensure accuracy, factual errors can be present. For more on the show, visit www.tothebonepodcast.com. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Get involved in the conversation. You can find us at www.tothebonepodcast.com. Drop us topic suggestions or be a potential guest. We're all about connecting with you, our listeners. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep cutting deep.